Hello and welcome to another stream here on Behance and on YouTube. Hi! My name's Anna. I'm not on camera today, but I am a children's book illustrator, and today we're going to be messing around with some traditional media. So that's pencils, paints, pens, whatever the heck we want to do. Paper in real life, not digital. What? Crazy. These are some different materials that I'm going to be using, so if you have any questions today, just feel free to shout them out in the chat. By the way, Annika gets a gold star for being first in the chat on Behance today. Thank you for being here, Annika. Hi! Also, I see Rin was popping in the chat before saying, gotta go to a meeting. Have a good time at your meeting. I hope you're doing well. And Max is in the chat. Hi, Max. Nice to see you. And our good friend Jake Green has declared he is here. I talk normal and good like. So I am in the process of putting together a post on Patreon describing how I did, where is that piece? How I did this piece, step by step. And so I'm in the middle of making that right before this stream, and I'm like, you know, I should probably work on like something digital, something that, you know, I can pop on a postcard real quick or, you know, is somehow useful in my day-to-day, but I want to do what I want to do, and I think everybody should just do what they feel like making. There's nothing wrong with traditional. I'm just not that good at digitizing it yet, so I don't use it for a lot of stuff. But I love, love, love making it, and I really want to make my brain happy, so traditional it is. Look at this foxy guy. I love certain things about this piece, but I don't love every bit of it. I might redo it at some point, or not redo it, do it again. Do the same kind of concept or keep the things that I love and change the things that I don't someday. We still have this moss cat, which is very similar in color to the forest. But yeah, this is unfinished, so we can pop in here and like start finishing things. This axolotl is very unfinished. There's sketches all over the place. Ooh, I might actually start with this. So this is a very light sketch. You can barely see it on your end, but this is just the watercolor pencil, and I started sketching out the area near us where it has a little pond and a beaver dam. This is the beaver dam. It's just a lump. And then it's got just these beautiful trees, and I have so much reference of this area that I thought it would be a really fun one to just kind of play around with painting in different ways. Jake says, I really like that fox piece. I'm so glad. Yeah. This guy, I think one of the most satisfying things about it is how dark this like foreground tree got, and then how crisp the edges. Also, one of my favorite things about painting with an edge that's taped down is getting the weirdness at the edge. Like there's just little bits that didn't get fully painted in. Down here at the bottom you can see some of like the yellow wash coming through, just a little line of it, and that's the kind of stuff that I try to replicate digitally, but it's never quite as beautifully random as like the real thing. Annika says, OMG, Anna, I was looking at your Society 6 prints and wondered if you're going to be adding more recent work from before prints there. You know, I'm in the process of trying to make my own shop, so I think I'm going to eventually take down my Society 6. Plus, it's got a lot of my older work, which I don't hate my older work by any means, but it is stuff that I'm not really... What do I want to say? Like, I'm not marketing that side of my artwork anymore because I only like to do it for myself. I don't ever like to do it for clients. I had to do it for a client once because I was like, oh yeah, I'll take a job that's like super painterly and detailed. And it just about killed me. So I only take the work that I want to do now. Eustra's in the chat. What's up, you? Saying, yes, own shop. Annika says, OMG, own shop. Let me be your first customer. You're so sweet. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that is a big process. Okay, you guys, I learned about something that kind of scared me the other day. And I'm just going to start painting as we talk because I will just talk forever if I don't start. So, what was I gonna say? So the thing that scared me the other day was somebody was talking about taxes and opening your own store and saying that you have to pay individual state taxes every time you make a sale. Like if there's a sales tax in Colorado and you sell something to someone in Colorado, that you have to go and like pay that tax. Now, I don't exactly know if that's how it works, but that's how people are saying it works. And so it scares me a little bit because I am definitely not somebody who can handle that kind of stuff. That sounds kind of sad, but it's true. You got to know yourself, you know? And I am not somebody who is going to thrive in a place where I have to write down every single state that I'm selling to and then go like take a minuscule part of that sale and send it to that state. Like, I have enough problems just paying my own dang taxes to my own dang state. So I'm gonna look into stuff like that, like the little menial tasks of selling, legality in the United States. I know that Anthony and I talk about this all the time because if you don't know, by the way, Anthony is my co-host usually on these streams. He's not here today because he's having lunch with his grandma. How cute is that? I love it. This paper is not the best for this kind of like watery painting, so I'm gonna try to be more opaque with things. Anyways, what was I saying as I dip my brush into water? I'm like, no more watery water. Give me water. Anyways, so Anthony and I have talked about opening an online store and all that it entails. He is so helpful in terms of like using his brain for what it does best and like taking that burden off of my brain, because again, I don't think in a certain way, and so it can be really hard to get certain functions going. Just like opening an online store has so many different kinds of things that it needs from you. And so, yeah, that is the kind of stuff that I am so thankful for Anthony for. Anyways, we decided when opening the online store that we should limit it to not international shipping yet, just to simplify a lot of things, to get our bearings first, and then we can add that eventually. But I am so tempted. Like, I want to send things to people everywhere. It's so annoying to think that, like, I just can't, you know? It's kind of like when you're a kid and you think, like, oh, the whole world is just the world and it's open and I can do stuff, right? Well, as an adult, you get this rude awakening that, like, oh, actually, no, there's a lot of limitations and you can't just do whatever and go wherever. I guess rich people can maybe, but just like in general, there are a lot more rules than I thought there were as a kid, and it's annoying. Not just rules, but like limitations, I guess, because like I'm fine with obeying rules or whatever. Like I'm fine doing what I need to do, but sometimes there's just no way to do the thing that you need to do, and I hate that. Anyways, that's a rant for another day. Yusa says, like, do they tax you all of your income? In Germany, they tax if you're earning more than a certain number monthly. Other than that, they only need to submit a report. Yeah, there's a lot of taxes. So, Yusa says, you reminded me that I need to send my shop taxes for the last year. You just forget that. Oh man, it's such a burden in the United States. It's kind of crazy. Annika says, I really need art prints for my new room studio and thought I'd like an Anna Davis court in there. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to send you something. Oh, that's so sweet. Jake says, I thought that tax was on the customer's end, but I don't know. See, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, I would assume it would be on the customer's end, or that it's like taken automatically. But this was a conversation that came up because of all the stuff going on with, Etsy. Etsy automatically took out the taxes and would just be like, yeah, man, gotcha. All that math on our end. Cool. And they would take it out of, like the amount that was paid or whatever. So it was all pretty much out of the customer's hand and also out of the seller's hand, where it was like, you don't have to physically work with these numbers. You're not involved in this, which is kind of amazing. But now people are leaving Etsy because they have unrealistic, what do you call them? Like fees from the creator. They're taking a crazy high percentage. That's what it is. And so that kind of thing is making people leave en masse. I need my phone for reference. Where did I put it? Somewhere. Oh, it's gone forever. Oh, wait. No, there it is. Oh, you can see I'm wearing my bunny shirt today. Hello. So what was I saying? The idea of Etsy taking out all of the taxes and stuff. People are moving to their own sites or Shopify or like competitors of Etsy basically. And so yeah, they are trying to figure this stuff out. And so we're all kind of learning together. And I want to learn with people. That's kind of the gist. Okay, so I'm looking up some reference. You got, sorry, I'm looking at the little mini photos down here. They're so cute. But I won't show any of them because James doesn't like his face being shown. But anyways, so this is some of our reference here. This is just outside of my door. There's beautiful creek areas. Sorry, it's all screen-like and whatever. But I wanted especially to get the kind of what the water looks like, because water can look different in every single lighting. I swear, it just changes by the minute. So this looks largely reflective, like you've got a mirror up to the sky, which is the kind of stuff I love. And then we've got a lot of browns in the foliage in the back, tons of grasses that are like dead and never got pruned because this is a wild area, and that's kind of the feeling that gives wild areas a wild feeling, which I love. And then we've got kind of a white sky, but I'm thinking we might dull it out a little bit, make it more of a gray, just because that is so what Oregon has. And I want to be true to the area. 90% of the time, we've got some gray skies. Martha, hey Martha, what's up? How are you? Saying, yes, painting, I'm here with you. Oh, I love it. Yes, let's paint together. Pull up some reference if you want it, and just go to town, baby. So, Yusra, if you're curious about U.S. taxes, there are different kinds of systems for people who work for an employer, or who are on contract for an employer, or are freelance. There are like many different levels of being involved with someone paying you, basically. I am full freelance. I used to be on contract, which I personally think that contract work is probably some of the worst deals that a worker can have. I'm sure there's a worse system out there, but I'm just saying of what I've experienced. And then for freelancers, there are a lot of benefits and a lot of drawbacks. So it's not all like, oh, this is the best system, this is the worst system. It's just every individual has a different feel. And what was I gonna say? For freelancers, it's okay, sorry, I should say, for usual normal employment situations, the vast majority of them, the employer takes out taxes throughout the year from your pay, and you don't really see it. It's just like, if you want to see the number, I think it's on the paycheck somewhere, or like the invoice, and then they pay towards the state and the federal. So state and federal are the two different like factions that take out money. And then for freelancers, you have to pay that same kind of thing, but out of your own payment. So you're basically your employer. You're taking out that money, and you have to send it in quarterly chunks, usually. Everybody's got a different system for themselves and what feels right, but they ask you to do it quarterly. And so that's what I do. I pay taxes quarterly to the state and the federal Bureau of IRS. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, bless me. Sorry if I made any of you sneeze. Wait, that's not how it works, right? It's not like yawning. I don't know how it works. Why am I even joking like I do? Anyways, so yeah, that is part of how taxes work, I guess. I don't know if I'm doing a decent job of explaining or not, but if you have more questions, let me know, because I'm not an expert. Hey, baby, you want to ask not an expert? James and I do pay a tax person, though, every single year, so I ask her questions whenever they come up, and I swear I learn like a book's worth every year. And it always makes me super self-conscious that I know very little. So that's how we are. Beep, beep, beep. I just kind of want to block in some color here, honestly. This is not like oh, this has to be this color or whatever. I'm just trying to get some colors in here so that I can balance them off of each other. It's more of like a sketch painting than anything. I want some foliage back here, and with foliage, in general, I'm not saying this is a rule, but I like to do big blocks of it and then separate out with value. Because if you see foliage in the wild outside, it is so organic and ambiguous that it's really hard sometimes to figure out a good shape to give it in your artwork. I mean, that's the challenge, right? Is translating 3D shapes and space into a 2D thing, put it on paper. So the idea with blocking things in is it's just giving you a big space, a big something to grab onto, and then you can, from there, break it into smaller bits, much more manageably. Yes, this is the gray-blue. Watercolor works really well for that, honestly. Or, sorry, this isn't watercolor, gouache. It's just really thin gouache right now. I kind of like leaving like little white gaps in between here too. It gives it kind of the illustrations from Winnie the Pooh, that kind of feel. Can't remember the artist off the top of my head. The Winnie the Pooh artist. And I think this is kind of the medium-ish that artist used, or at least a lot of old school children's book artists do, is watercolor in a very like low contrast kind of way. Gives it a certain look. I like it. Annika says foliage is in the wild. Yes, yes. It's never chopped down. It's never like manicured. User says, I love asking non-experts about things they encounter because it shows how the things from their perspective, like how they perceive it and such. Agreed. And most of the time I'm curious, a curious human being. So yeah, I like asking non-experts. I so agree. It's funny. It's not that like you can only ask experts about any like thing. Like, oh, I'm curious about, I don't know, the experience of being a human being. I have to find an expert on it. No, it's much more ask the people that you want to know about it from. Like, I am curious about what it's like to be an individual living in Germany, and so I'm gonna go ask Yusra, obviously. That's how we do. But yeah, I think it is more useful sometimes, like in the case of artists especially, to ask people who are trying to find their way through. Because especially when like learning art techniques, I know that Anthony has encountered this quite a bit, especially recently. It is sometimes difficult to learn from someone who's so far away from the point at which they originally learned that thing. So like if you, I don't know, making paintings of seagulls for all your life, and you've just studied seagulls and you're so good at painting seagulls and like all this stuff, you're the master seaguller. And somebody comes out of the woodwork and they're like, I really want to learn how to paint seagulls, where do I start? Well, you've been an expert for so long that you probably don't know exactly where to start anymore, because you're just like, you're advanced, you're at a really high level, and sometimes that can make you not the best person to teach that particular thing. Not that they're bad teachers. Experts can be wonderful teachers. I'm just saying sometimes their experience can work against them for the student, from the student's perspective, I should say. So it's good to get teachers and mentors, advice from people of all levels of experience. There is no like, oh, you shouldn't be talking because you're not experienced enough. It's like, well, they're having their own unique experience and you could probably learn from that. So yeah, there's another spiel from Anna. I'm going to, I think I really like the dark spots. I wanted to make like a big, medium, and small kind of area. Over here got a little bit away from me, so I'm gonna poof this green out just a little bit to kind of create the feeling that there's foliage and then there's shadow beneath it, because that was the goal. And this is actually kind of a happy accident, because a lot of times when there is that ambiguous foliage shape like this, having it all be one value kind of makes it seem like that's one plant. And often in the wild, many, many, many plants will overlap. So you could have, branches of one tree coming out of another. It could look all sorts of ways. So it's a gift and a blessing. Or wait, gift and a curse. Wait, what is it? It's something. All right, now I want to darken up this tree a lot. I know this now because of all my other values going on. It's very light, And values are especially important, I find, with traditional work. I was actually just watching a video. It was like the top 5 tricks that brought my watercolor paintings to life or something like that. I love those videos when people just put succinctly like, this is what I've really taken away from my experience of building up the skill set. Anyways, so one of his top, or no, I think it was his actual top like thing he's learned while watercolor painting, or thing that improved the painting, I should say, was values. Making sure that his values were reading. And I so agree with that in so many ways, because I think that every single painting, oh, sorry, I'm not even mixing on camera. Every single painting is, it is made or broken by values, in my opinion. Drawings can be a lot of different things. They can also use value, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, for painting, especially, if your values are working, then almost everything else could be lazy. And the values could carry it. I am still very much trying to learn more about values and get better at using them, because I don't ever know if I'll be like really good at it. But I know that it's 99% of the time what holds back my work. So it's good to know. Good to know that other people are putting value in values. Oh, Dorcas. Annika says blessing in disguise. Silver lining. Exactly. Yeah, that looks much better, doesn't it? And I definitely want to add some like mossy bits and stuff like that to these trees, because that is such a huge part of the Pacific Northwest feel, I think, is having moss on moss on moss on moss. Moss, basically, as we like to say around here. And the beautiful thing about gouache is you can just keep going over and over if you want to. It's not, I mean, it's somewhat limited, but it's not unforgiving medium. It's pretty malleable, thank goodness. Yeah. Oh, and I also have a little scrap of watercolor paper over here. Now, I'm not painting on watercolor paper, which is my silliness. I was like, oh, I actually do want to paint this. I should have just used the sketch and gone to like watercolor paper or whatever, but again, this is a sketch paint, whatever. So what I was gonna say was something about brain worky. I can't remember. I lost it. This is why Anthony is really good to have around, because he could maybe keep me on track just a little bit. But you guys feel free to ask questions if you have any, as usual. I'll promise to try to remember what I'm talking about for like 10 seconds. It's a hard life. Okay, so I'm gonna mix a little bit of yellow with some green, and I'm gonna put some white in here. Here's some white. Sorry, my palette is an absolute mess. I definitely need to like clean this whole thing and organize it. Organized palette, organized brain, right? But what was I saying? So this is going to be for this back area. This is this straight line back here is a bridge. So I want this really like light atmosphere to take over back there. It's not light enough. Maybe I just need it more transparent. There's an actual place like this where we live. It's kind of insane how beautiful it is. A little bridge going over a creek that leads to a pond. Like, are we living in paradise or what? I think so. Not bad, not bad. And speaking of values, a lot of this piece has to do with values. So this bridge back here, I don't want it to be too dark. Just want a little bit of definition in here. It's kind of bleeding into the green. I think that's cool. Okay. Let's get a close-up look of the bleed. The bleed. Yes. So far, so far. All right. Oh, this guy's got it. This is a downed log. This definitely needs to be covered in moss. Moss. Yeah, this light green up here is perfect because I just added some of the darker green on top of it, and I think it's a good color for the moss. Might need a more yellow, actually. The moss around here is all sorts of different colors, honestly, so it's not really like I could go wrong here. But just for the look of it, I want some light yellow-green. That's the idea I like. Sometimes it'll be much lighter or much darker than the bark, so you really can't go wrong. Moss is very forgiving. That's kind of the idea there. And for this one, I'll go much darker since, again, our values, I don't want too much contrast to be like this really bright moss on top of it. By the way, I'm darkening with 2 different methods. So when I'm mixing, we've got 2 different greens down here that I've been using. So this is the sap green, which is more of a yellow undertone. This is, I think it's called emerald green, and it's much more of a blue undertone. Ugh, I don't like this song. Skip. Anyway, so 2 methods of darkening that. I use a little bit of this, and I'm bringing it up here, and then I add red from over here. Yes, I know, it's so messy, I'm sorry. So this is red. Complementary colors will turn it more of a brown, which is very useful for what we're working on. And then it also darkens it a bit. And then I also have this dab of black right here. So if I add a little bit of the black, then we get to the more intense darks right here. Okay, so I think I'll do along this side some moss. Need it to be a bit lighter, just to read. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Also on the fox piece, I definitely like stylized the shape of the moss. If you see that, and that was kind of inspired by some work by Ulla Thino, I think is how you pronounce her name. Absolutely amazing artist. So if you want to stylize the shape of things. I mean, that doesn't just end with, oh, the branches or the shape of the overall tree. It can be all the way down to the moss. And I encourage also looking at how moss grows. This is kind of my everyday of like, I love looking at moss, so I kind of understand how it grows. I'm sure I could still learn more always. But yeah, I'm using that knowledge here and trying to purposefully place these areas. I also scooped in a little bit of red there, if you can see that. Can you see the red? Ooh, ah. Alright, so this has been a sketch. I think I could still keep going on this, but I don't really feel like it's worth like putting a ton of time into. I'm gonna put some moss over here. Because again, the purpose of this for me was just to sketch something out, get started painting. So I'm thinking, what do I want to do next? Well, also, if I want to finish this or whatever, what I would do is do some colored pencils over top. And that's what brings this to like this kind of finished quality. That's a big part of the difference, is using the colored pencils. All right, so yeah. Oh, we've got a nice sky painting, and now we've got a nice little forest painting. How cute. Oh, I love it. Okay, I kind of want to sketch around for a little bit. Let's sketch around. I was thinking of rearranging my desk area, so this is my sketches of those. Does anybody else do like the overhead sketching where you're like, okay, so that room could be laid out like this or like this. Here are the major bits. I also did like a little perspective drawing of what it looks like from the couch. It looks like chaos because it is chaos. Like yeah, that's why I want to rearrange it. It's because it's utter chaos right now. Oh, where did I put my favorite pencil? The Palomino Blackwing. Oh, it's glorious. Yusra says, I do the overhead, yes. Wait, let's see. So Yusra, what have you most recently rearranged in your home? I'm curious. Because my office is definitely the thing that like I'm changing constantly. It's not a separate room, it's also our living room and our kitchen. But I call it my office. Annika says, ew, what's the fun in having an organized palette? Just, I think this is, I've seen palettes that are nice looking, and this is not one of them. This is ugly. What it can make can be pretty, but oh man. I really want to get like a ceramic palette. This thing's plastic and it just doesn't like feel good. But that's one of those like not necessities. So I would rather spend on paint and paper before I do that. Yeah, I think down here has been my comfort zone because I feel blocked out of a lot of this area. Like it's just too weird. Some of these are also watercolors mixed in here instead of gouache, so I don't know how they would mix with the rest of them. So I'm like literally not touching this area ever. So I should just wash it off. Yusra says, why not blacken it with blue instead of black? I could. It would require me opening another paint. What I have on my palette is what I'll always go for first. Oh man. Annika says, what if you just did colored pencils? How would you approach that? Oh my gosh. I did do a few just colored pencils pieces. Ooh, I should show you what I did. All right, 1 second. I have to go grab them. I will BRB. Okay, so these are the colored pencils I had when I was just doing straight up colored pencil pieces. They're called kaleidoscope multicolored pencils. And if you see the tips, they have multiple colors. They're so fun. Annika says, OMG, let's see. Reveal time. Dun dun dun. Martha says, I made my second workspace for traditional art in our dining area. I did sketches too to get inspired to actually do the moving. Absolutely. It is part of the process, is like planning it out. So I agree with this. I support this. So I'll do little test swatches of these guys for you just because they're really fun. So this one is like a bunch of green and yellow kind of mixed in there. So I can just do a like swatchy swatch of it. Zoop, 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 zoop. Yeah, that was like medium pressure, but if you press really hard, you can get like this. All right, now we've got, this is a gray and yellow and kind of like a tan, which is very unique and interesting. Medium pressure. I'll show you up close as well. And then this is like hard pressure. Here, you can see those two up close. Interesting. This is one of my faves. This is the purple, pink, and yellow. Medium pressure. Ooh, zoop, 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 zoop. I definitely have like a favorite, and then this is hard pressure. They're also really fun to just use together. You have a bunch of different colors. So this one is, I believe, my favorite based on how worn down it is. It is blue, red, green, orange, and black, I think. Green. No, that's dark green, not black. It's just got so many colors that it really reads as super fun. And this one, like when I'm putting it down, it looks mostly like yellow and pink. But if you just kind of roll the pencil to the side of the other color, like I can get blue in there. So you can see how fun that multicolored is. It's almost like a rainbow in a pencil. I like it. And last but not least, we've got an array of different blues. Oh, Jake says I've got to go, but have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for hanging out, Jake. Thank you for being here, and have a great evening yourself. Enjoy the rest of the day. All right, so this is like medium pressure and then high pressure. Zoop, zoop, zoop. It looks like actually, oh yeah, it does have like one little spot of green in there. So it's got some green on there. Very cool. Whoa. Anyways, multicolored pencils. They're so fun. Yusra says, what are these? This is magic. Or is this magic? These are called kaleidoscope multicolored pencils. So if you want any of these, they are really, really fun. This one says it's intlarvals.com. I don't know. There you go. Some information. Intlarvals. Never a dull moment. These fun multicolored pencils produce a different range of color with every stroke. Octagonal, chunky barrel. Does not roll away. Easy grip. It's true. They are chunky compared to the little one. Look at this little guy. He's so small. So yeah, the favorite one, I think what I used to do was I would take some like thicker paper and I'd draw some kind of animal. We could do just like a cat or something. Zwoop. This is exactly the moss cat. And then back in the day I would very carefully like color it in, but I'm feeling loose and goofy, so I'm just gonna be like whoop a zwoop. Come on, the curved ear. And the direction of this is what's really fun, because yeah, you can just kind of create the impression of fur or of motion or whatever you darn well please. Something just fell. I don't know what it was, but something. And then you can go over it with different colored pencils to like put in face details or whatever. Or you could just lean really heavily on one side of these pencils. But I found that that's not my favorite way to do it, just because then you run out of one of the colors faster, kind of, and you don't get to enjoy it as much amongst the others. Like you can see in this, it's mostly not blue. And I think that's because I lean on the blue a little bit as like an effect that I want, so it takes away from my future pieces, but 'tis what it is. Also doing layers of this, that's kind of the name of the game with colored pencils in general. Usually when there's a dedicated color pencil artist, I only know this because my high school art teacher did do like only colored pencils for several years, so she taught me them. It is all about making sure that your pencil is sharp and that that your pencil is sharp. Look at that pencil. This is a different thing because it's multicolored. But with regular colored pencils, you make sure that they're sharp and you layer. So it would definitely take a long time to get the effects that you're going for if you're using them in that sense. Then there are other techniques, obviously, like everything has a different technique depending on who's using it. So I see artists like Lee Ellickson is one that comes to mind, who just will every once in a while take out colored pencils and do a few different marks on top of the sketch or paint or whatever. And they're just to make individual marks. They're not to create like a sense of depth or detail or any of that kind of stuff. So it really depends on what your intention is with it. And the reason that you keep the pencil sharp in traditional colored pencil like detail drawing is because toothy paper, it has that like kind of grip to it, right? And so when you press really hard on the paper because you're trying to get like a dark color or something, you can just flatten that texture. So then suddenly you've got this waxy coating on a flat piece of paper and it won't take any more pencil. So in order to keep it able to keep taking in more pencil and more color so you can layer to get those darker colors, then you have to keep the pencil really sharp and use very minimal pressure so you're not flattening that grit. And yes, I did make that mistake many times. I remember in high school I was working on a piece that was like very large. Do you guys have that experience too, that when you were in a high school art class they always had you work on something that was like way too big? Instead of you having like, oh, let's fill a sketchbook and like just do nothing on each page and have fun and like try out different things, they'd give you a sheet of like, I don't know, 24 by 24 inch paper and be like, all right, with these super sharp colored pencils, color it in. It's so weird. So I was working on this actually like really cool old school sea map. It was on black paper. I remember it looking really cool. So black paper, colored pencils can show up really well on that. And so I was doing like old-timey cartography, but with like in the ocean there were sea serpents and stuff like that. And I think I also had some like real world places and put some animals in on the continents where they were from, stuff like that. And so I was like, I don't know, a month into this thing, and I just got fed up with like the constantly sharpening pencils and trying to get every detail just right. And I just started going and like digging into the paper, and it was over. That was the only mark I could make in that place suddenly. I could never layer again. It was really sad. But as with every single project that I had in high school, I never finished it. Sorry, not every project. Plenty of projects were finished. Art projects were never finished. I don't know where I got this idea that I was going to be an artist after high school, because like I could not finish anything for the life of me. It was just, I was like allergic to finishing. So yeah, I had a time trying to get through stuff and like make things. Luckily I had a very understanding and wonderful art teacher. And so she just kind of encouraged me to keep making, even if I never finished anything. And that's where I became an artist. I encourage you to encourage others to become artists. Not to make great art, just to become an artist. Actually, I take that back. One thing I did finish was a paper mache goat head. And my parents still have it at their place. Annika says, that's super helpful. Thanks, Anna. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. If you ever want any advice that I can give you, or like, you know, technical information, I am here for it, baby. Yusra says, I have this finishing problem these days with all of what I draw and have to finish. It's really hard, especially if you're getting paid for it, or like your livelihood is somehow wrapped up in your artwork, to have that happen. So I'm sorry, Yusra. I know that can be really frustrating. But on the other side of it also, if you don't have an outside pressure to finish something, I think it's kind of wonderful to just feel like, I don't have to. It's fine. We're all good. Zwoop, a zwoop, a zwoop, a zwoop. A zwoop, a zwoop. I'm gonna use this. Yeah. And like a little red pip. Little cutie. Should we do like little no paws, just just feet? Just want to add a little bit more texture with this red. And we can go in with the blue too. I've just got a non-photo blue, which I love using on basically everything. Zoop, zoop, zoop. And add some fun little marks. Yeah. It's got cold feet. There, we've got a gatto. We love the gatto. Little scraggly, colorful guy. Wait. Need like a upper ear definition for Shersies. There's our cat. He's a little wonky, but I like him. He's chaotic. Easter says, I love this cat. Oh, I'm so glad. Euster says, no, but I need to finish it because I'm learning. Not finished is a luxury I don't have these days. I understand. Yes. On the other hand, I have finished a charcoal self-portrait and I'm very proud of it. Oh, yay. The progress. Also that I finished it. Hey, do you want to post that on the Discord? If you're comfortable with it. You never have to. I just am curious and I would love to see it. But also, good for you. That is a huge accomplishment. I think it's wonderful when you can finish something and we don't celebrate it enough because it's so hard to know when something is not only like done, but also making yourself get to that point. I know plenty of people who have the too much gene and they go a little far with it. But that is something that a lot of people, they struggle with, you know, having the like, is it finished kind of feeling. And my teacher Lee White, he would always say, it's always due but never done. Because you could always keep going with a piece. You could always, you know, quote unquote fix it into oblivion. But sometimes you just have to call it finished for the client. That's how it do be. It really do be that way sometimes. Okay, what do I want to do? I might go into smaller guy just for a sec. I kind of want to paint a character. Oh, I might do a head. Maybe like a profile. Maybe like a leafy profile. I'm very into green, if you guys can't tell. So we might have like a little pointy-nosed elf coming our way. Love with elves if you line up their nose and their ears. Long, straight, upward. I'm thinking maybe following the bridge of the like nose and then down around the eye, that kind of thing. Kind of want like a thinner eye. Zwoop, like that. Kind of want them to be like, I don't know, engaged, so they're like leaning forward. Their head needs to be bigger. My proportions are changing wildly every second. It's fine, it's fine. Whoop. This is just the sketch, so it'll all disappear anyway. Freedom. Okay, so I'm thinking bangs, but like of kind of like Weeping Willow coming down. I'm thinking. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Like that. And then we could have larger, maybe big ferns going behind the ear. Maybe like a little fern, you know, when they're, what are they called when they're curled up still? I'm not quite sure. Fern frond. I like a big, like round leaf back here. We could just have it flow off the page back here also. I think I might change the eye completely because it feels too not animated enough for me. I want it to be a little bit more caricatured. Martha says, Lee's the best. I just got done with his children's book pro class. So good. Okay, how was it? Tell me everything. I have not taken his children's book pro class yet, but that is on SVS, the Society of Visual Storytelling. And I bet it's amazing because Lee is a fantastic teacher. If you guys haven't taken any Lee White classes, you're missing out because they are fantastic. Zwoop. Zwoop. I think just ambiguous leaves back here, kind of leafy shape. What do you call that? I think it's just the leaf shape, like cartoon leaf. And I don't want too much ear. I'm probably going to cover it with different things as we go along. What color should the skin be? Where did my brush even go? There we go. Got it. I almost want it to be like brown with some pinks, I'm thinking, maybe. Let's see. I can just do an undertone right now. And pop in some light greens, probably. Oh, you guys can't see my palette again. So that same green we were using for moss earlier, I could put in for the hair. Hair, I say in quotes. What did I do? Oh, it was this. Okay. I was looking for the color that I had for the skin. I wasn't sure. This is also a great part with the stage of a painting where you can add a lot of variety into the greens, and they're not really leaves yet. You don't have to get like individual shapes yet. It's just an underpainting, so I can go in here and add some like orange, I think. There we go, and then maybe some yellow. My yellow is absolutely covered in green, so I'm just digging it out over here. I can wash out some of the green, get back to that truer yellow, which is going to then be mixed into green, so it doesn't really matter. It's so silly. I want some of the, basically my goal with any kind of nymph or elf or like part, you know, like mythical creature who's kind of one with the plants, is that their skin and their hair or slash foliage all generally blends into one at some point. So I like, you know, leaves coming out of the cheeks and areas like that. Like we could have just like little dabs just to remind ourselves that, hey, leaves can come out of anywhere. The eyebrows, they don't have to be hair. They could be leaves. I love it. And we've got some more bluish green. Oh my gosh, so fun. So fun. This is the same kind of process I do in fresco too, with like the watercolor brushes, which is kind of perfect. Kind of perfect, don't you think? Rin says, hello friends. How was your meeting, Rin? Did you enjoy it? Tyler Gibson in the chat. Hello. Sorry I'm not looking at the chat as often today. Anthony's not with us because he's visiting with his grandmother, so yay. But yeah, it means that I'm a little bit slower on the chat. Sorry. Tyler says, hey Anna, hope you're doing well. Just popping in to say hi. Thank you so much for popping in. Yeah, I'm doing great. Having some fun with some gouache, painting a little sprightly character. We also painted a little study of the area next to me, and then we had fun with some, oh, I've just put my thumb right in her hair, some fun with some multicolored pencils. We made a little cat. So we're just having a ball here, basically. How are you doing today? How you feeling? How you thinking? How you smelling? It's fine. You don't have to answer the last one. Since I put my thumb in it, I'm just kind of like zhuzhing it a little bit again. Zhuzh, zhuzh, zhuzh. Excellent. Martha says, amazing. Jake Parker and Will Terry also all collaborated and did a weekly Zoom classes with us and a ton of content they shared. I highly recommend it. That is awesome. Yeah, so the Children's Book Pro class course with SVS is live at certain points. They like actually do feedback with you, which I imagine is just super valuable. Martha says your name came up a couple times in class. Oh, I hope in good sense. Leah's taught me, like, I feel like most of my artistic career has come from him, and he's just wonderful. I'm sure that I was much more work for him than he was for me, so I don't begrudge him if he said it was a lot. Alessandra says, "This looks great, Anna." Oh, thank you so much. Rin says, "Oh, goodness, so lovely. All about the hair thumbs." You don't want to know the last one. I jest, but also Texas equals hot, hot, hot. Oh my gosh. Hair thumbs and hotness. Huh. I am so glad that you're back, Ren. I hope that you're having a good day too. Is it's sweltering outside where you are? I'm so sorry if it is. Right now is kind of the perfect time in Portland where it feels like, I mean, given the day, it could be rainy or whatever, but some of the days you just get rain and then perfect and then rain and then perfect. And the rain keeps everything really lush and beautiful, so I don't begrudge it at all. And yeah, it's just a good time. It's a good time to be in Portland, which is kind of amazing because one of our friends, well, two of our friends, technically, I'm just saying like the friend group, they're coming up and we might be able to actually see them when they're visiting, which is like such a rare delight to get to see someone. And they could be coming when it's just the perfect weather, which would be amazing because then I get to brag about my place and be like, yeah, it's awesome and not rainy at all today. Erin says, rub it in, why don't you? Hey man, you're gonna get to experience it, and it's just waiting for you. Although honestly, I'd say fall is equally beautiful to spring. Summers have become not as I remember them. We got up to, I think, 117 last year, which is just crazy for Oregon. Like, we should not be having those numbers. That's just not, it's not our climate, man. But it is what it is, and we're rolling with it. And this year, James and I got an air purifier, or not air purifier, what do you call it? A portable air conditioner. Boom, nailed it. First try. More red on the cheeks. I want the skin tone to really vacillate between like browns and greens and reds. Could also be used to kind of chop up this edge of the hair a little bit. We could do a bit of an intense edge of shadow if we want to. Like that. And just kind of avoiding these leaves. The whole point with gouache is you can paint over, so it's not like I have to avoid them, but I'm just kind of leaving myself notes. Like, hey, there are leaves here, don't forget that. Because you can forget it, especially when you're painting over your sketch. I kind of want like a yellow eye, like a really bright yellow eye. Maybe yellow-orange. You know my favorite gold. I love gold! Question is, should there be a white to the eye, or should it just be the color? That's just an orange eye. Oh yeah. I love it. It's kind of like that crazy wild dyed hair when people get like all the colors in it. Heck yeah. More greens down here. I think yellows too. I want like yellow in the neck. Something like that. Also more red in the ear. Just a little bit of like the blushy blush. Maybe some orange in there. Oh, that's cute. Imagine if there's just like orange blush all over. Maybe that'll be a future fashion movement. I'd be into it. I really like orange. Cute, cute, cute. Oh my gosh, Rin is calling me out for monkey paws. This is our halftime reminder to sip, stretch, and save if you're working digitally. Absolutely. Control save. And oh, sorry, Alessandra, not feeling well, but enjoying the stream. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're not feeling well. I send you all the good vibes. I hope you feel better. And the stream is always here for you, baby. So I hope that we can just vibe and have a good time. I am going to do some monkey paws. So everybody remember to take care of yourself. A monkey paws is a stretch that we do together to take care of our hands because they do so much for us. So I'm going to guide us. You can follow along if you'd like. I'm just going to put my hands straight out in front of me, fingers to the sky, palms away, and then curl my fingers into what we call a monkey paw. Ooh, ah. Good job. And then second pose, we put our fingers to the ground, palms towards ourselves, and then curl them in. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Good job. And then we third pose, put our fingers to the ground, palms away, and then we curl them in. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Rin says dizzyifying monkey paws today. Sorry, the autofocus goes crazy when I'm like out of the thing. And then fourth pose, we put our fingers to the sky and palms towards ourselves, and then curl them in. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Hey Rin, if it's dizzying, perfect time to close your eyes. You can give yourself a break from the screens. And we just repeat these 4 poses, holding for about a second each to give ourselves a nice stretch. And hopefully it feels like you're getting a good stretch, but if you feel any pain whatsoever, stop immediately, ice your hands, and rest. And if these just aren't your bag, then totally fine. Just find some hand stretches that suit you, because the real point of this is just to take care of yourselves. So take this as an opportunity to do something good for your health, which could mean chugging some water, maybe closing your eyes, maybe standing up from your chair and stretching out a little bit. I know that my legs get a little stagnant when I'm sitting too long, so here, I'm gonna stand up. Stand up. Yeah. That's the good stuff. Dance around a little bit. Oh, yeah. Stretch the shoulders. I'm going to gently shake out my hands to loosen them back up. And then I like to do some neck stretches. So I put my ear as high as I can on one side. Excuse me. Reach for the sky. Flop over. Let the other ear reach for the sky. Back over again. And the final flop. Now, look as far as is comfortable to each side. So the left side, and then the right, and the left side, and the right. Good job! We did it! Ugh. Remember to keep your painting water and your drinking water separate, okay? Don't want to mix these up. Good job, everybody. You did it. Good job taking care of yourselves. And hey, look at that. Our painting dried a bit while we were gone, which is good. We definitely have a lot of room for like darker greens and, detail and definition everywhere. I think I want to let it dry first before I start pushing stuff around again, because it feels like I could very easily just like smush everything to the side. So in the meantime, why don't we jump back into this guy for a second and just give a little bit of zhuzhing with some colored pencils, because I've got them out and they look fun. So I want to add some red to this tree. I'm going to do it really softly at first, and then on the outside I kind of want to go hard and have just like a little bit of a vibrant red edge poking out every once in a while. This isn't conducive. Get out of my way. So you can see the vibrant red edge every once in a while peeking out. It's so fun. And then we can also use our dark green, which is actually called peacock green, and go in here and make some grass happen. Also use, this is orange, yeah, it's just straight up orange, and do some fun little marks. Also do some marks on the tree, maybe on the moss. Something I do love doing with moss is giving little marks, like little tiny tick marks, as if there's like little texture in there. If you can make it read, which at this scale it might not read that well. But having like grassy grass kind of marks are really fun. You can do that with literally any color. So many colors occur in nature. And hey, we're not here for realism necessarily. At least I'm not. You do you, baby. Find your bliss. I actually saw some discourse today that was kind of stupid, in my opinion, on Twitter. That was something about like dissing on realism. Basically people saying stuff like, and this isn't like the art community necessarily, this is just some rando being like, this is real art, this is fake art. First of all, there is no fake art. Art is an expression. It's not for anything in particular until you make it for that thing. And they were doing stuff like putting old Picasso's work and new Picasso's work next to each other and being like, yeah, realism was like his, you know, beginning work, and then he learned how to make the real stuff. Which, I mean, there's something to be said for simplification of forms and being like, wow, you can really like get to the heart of a thing and make it look like it feels. That I feel like they missed the point on completely, if that's what they were trying to say, because they really just made it look like they were dissing on everybody who does realistic art, which is, I don't think, the point of anything. But yeah, I would say you guys, or anybody out in the world, I would say make the art that you want to make, that you enjoy making and you enjoy looking at. That's really the goal. Does not matter what the rest of the world says about it. The big thing in art school was anime, because the teachers would tell us like, oh yeah, don't make anime style art, or like, oh, that guy can only draw anime or something like that, as if it's a bad thing. And I'll tell you what, if you get good at something, you're good at it. It does not matter what it is. So even if you think anime isn't the goal, but that person does, and they're really good at it, they're just really good at what they love doing. How is that a bad thing? It's not. Anyways, it's just something that grinds my gears every once in a while when the world comes up with like, well, hey, this is how you should or shouldn't make art. It's bull, I tell ya. Also, what was the thing I was thinking? Oh yeah, I was thinking about how dumb it is that some, I don't know, I guess rich people at some point convinced the world that fine art was like all of what art had to offer, and that it was somehow unattainable because of the wealth that it was tied to. You know how like there's the idea of the banana taped to the wall in galleries and be like, oh yes, is this art? And that whole discourse. And the longer I think about it, the longer I think it's just people like, there's like forced classism in there. The only purpose of art really is just to make a thing, and that person makes the thing. The whole point of like selling it is just so you can make more of it. It is not the point of making art in its soul. It's literally just, I want to keep doing this. How do I keep doing this and pay the bills? I sell what I make. But when you're thinking of like the purpose of it, it's not making money. It's just silly to think that like, I don't know, the idea of going to a museum, looking at a piece of art and saying like, oh, you just don't get it. Like it's an Emperor's New Clothes thing. Like only the elites can understand it. That's a lie that people have put between each other. You could literally put that artwork anywhere in the world and it would still be the same artwork. It's just silly. Anyways, I hope any of that made sense to you guys. Because it makes sense in my head, and I get mad about it because it should, like, art should be accessible to everyone, everywhere, all the time. They should make it, they should buy it, they should enjoy it. And the idea that it's at all closed off for any reason, let alone a stupid reason like somebody saying, oh, it's expensive and you just don't get it, that just upsets me, because that's the opposite of the point. The point is to be accessible. Blah. Okay, so during that little rant, I colored pencil in this page. I have this one just painted, so it's just straight up like you can see paint and then paint with colored pencil on top and what it does for it. So you be the judge. Do you like? I could put like a little hole here and have a Korok waiting to be shot in there. Okay, this is for the most part dry. The eye is still a little wet. I kind of want to go in with a darker green before I go in with colored pencils. So I'm going to get this emerald green down here going. And a little bit of black. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Like that. I'm gonna water it down a little bit so I can get like an edge here of kind of like foliage that's kind of clumped in one being, and then kind of having a form shadow cast on it. That's kind of the idea here. And the rest of this can just be kind of random bits of shadow that are cast by other leaves on each other. Every once in a while, the overlap would like create a deep pocket where you're not seeing a leaf for quite a while, and so it's very shaded. Come on. More green, more black, more green, more black. Pigment. What did the pig say when he didn't intend what he said? That's not what the pig meant. There's a joke in there somewhere. It could be nuanced, obviously, but somewhere there's a joke, I promise. You guys help me out. We're making popsicle stick jokes today. Oh, you gotta have flyaway leaves. That's also necessary whenever there's a foliage head. I hope you're seeing how much of like ugly phases happen while painting, because that is definitely a part of it. Ain't no questioning. Yeah, I feel like it's getting some depth, which is nice. It reminds me of digital painting sometimes so much, and it makes me happy. It's silly, because like usually digital painting should remind you of traditional painting, right? But it's doing the opposite for me right now. I can add some lighter ones behind there too, create a sense of like depth. Sorry, not lighter, less pigmented, so a little bit more transparent. This is why I always keep a paper towel with me over here, as well as if you want to get water or pigment off of the brush, you can just dab it on that. Boom. Some close-up detail. That's how she's looking right now. Not perfect, but she's somewhere. Alessandra says, I agree with what you said, Anna. Oh, thank you. I'm glad somebody understood something I said. It feels good. And Rin says back. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. We're just still painting. I know you haven't been gone for that long, but just catching you up. I'm gonna put a little dark eyelash line here. Whoa, it's like a pupil reached into the orange. Whoa. Pretty cool. I think I'll do a little bit closer to the eyebrow. I'm gonna just do some little, I guess they're leaves, but honestly you could call them whatever. They're just little marks. Zoop, zoop. I want to create a little sense of motion with them, although it's hard because they're small. Maybe these guys get longer and they go into the hair. Cool. All right, you can work work on some of the skin tones, or whatever this would be called, bark tones. If you're not made of skin, you're made of nature. 'Tis my nature. Something like that. Just want to imply ear inners. Does that make sense? I'm gonna get some water and some of the pigment off the brush. Oh yeah, this is all still wet. Great. Why not? A little bit more red in there for some lip action. I think she was smiling, so. I'm giving her some hard shadows, but that's not necessary. I just chose it for this. Again, it's all about values. Cool. Okay, I'm having a lot of fun with her. She's awesome. Now, actually I'll have this like blend up a little bit, I think. Have a bit of a soft jawline. Got some brown on our cat. It's fine. All right. I'm feeling another. Oh, by the way, I never showed you guys. I finished this rug that we were working on once upon a stream here, and it was so much fun. Yusra, gotta go. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you so much for being here, Yusra. We love you, and I hope that you have a great night. Oh my gosh. Oh no, Yusra said goodbye so long ago. Gotta go, have to sleep. There's still a lot of studying to finish this week. Good luck with all of your studying. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Rin says, ooh, it'd be neat if mods could ping an actual sound the streamer to grab their attention to a post. I agree. I so agree. We should find a way to do that, because I'm down. I don't ever want to miss something in chat. Okay. Let us leave. I wanted to do a cabbage picture once upon a time. Let's see. I kind of want to draw mushrooms. Put down the brush, Anna. You know, once upon a time, not too long ago, I did an original paint reward on my Patreon, and it was this picture that I made for everybody, but none of them were the same. They were all different, and it was really fun to make and to kind of challenge myself differently with every single one of them because they were all different, like I said. And they were, I did that with a few pieces. One of them, they were a bunch of bunnies popping out of like a ring of foliage. And with some of them, I made it like a dark bunny with like light around it in this little gap, and then the dark foliage on the outside. And then on some of them, it was like a light bunny with a blue sky and then the foliage, that kind of thing. And then with this one that I was talking about originally, the first one I was thinking of, there was a group of mushrooms basically coming out of one of the sides of the piece. And I really enjoyed doing that. There's something about painting mushrooms that just, it's so fun because it's like repetitive in a certain way, but then also just like opportunity to explore textures and shapes and things like that in a way that almost turns your brain off. Almost, you know. Let's have some kind of bug down here. Kind of want like a moth, but yeah, we saw a moth on our walk the other day. I was like, do moths hang around mushrooms? I'm like, yes, they do. I'm bad at moths, implying moth stuff right now. I need to like do more research. I think they're kind of like that, like a paper airplane. Sure. I'm exploring shape. What a beautiful shape. So this is the mushroom forest so far. Oh, Rin says, let us leave. Let us leave? Yes. Hey, Lauda, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm painting traditionally. If you have any questions, let me know. Alessandra says, OMG, Anna, I feel the same way about mushrooms. I don't eat them, lol, but I paint them. And there's a moth still in my house. My goodness, you're being haunted by a moth. How unfair. Mushrooms are delicious. I don't know what you're talking about. They're the best thing in the world. Eat more mushrooms. Now, eat what you want to eat. I love mushrooms. Also, enoki mushrooms. Again, if you guys have not had enoki mushrooms, you are missing out in life. They are the best thing, and I love them dearly. Little baby ones. Beep, bop. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. This could be a fun one where they're like different colors. What do you think? Rin says, same. I need to practice moth drawing one of these days. Love seeing moth art and want to paint something. We should paint moths together, Rin. We could have a duo stream of just moth time. Moth time, USA. Because I seriously do think that is, they require more work than they seem like they would. Like, they are nuanced, and the shape and angle of things gives away to people who know moths that you don't know moths. And I would like to know moths, please. Please and thank. So I'm going in here with some dirty yellow. Dirty because I've been using it with my greens a lot, and so there's like a tinge of green in there, but who cares? I could go in with some red. Just choosing which ones overlap and where. This red is so strong. Just the tiniest dip and it's like, hello! I'll have this one dip out a little bit more. Time to dip out. Bye! Isn't it crazy that it's already Tuesday of this week? What is happening? I don't know. I'll grab some of this orange. Sure, this one. We're just doing sunset mushrooms, baby. It's almost unfair to like draw the stems. I feel like you could, if you want to do really thin stems, you could just kind of give yourself some impression of the direction. I'll just paint them in real thin. And I want those colors to bleed together a bit, so I'm letting that happen. Also, I missed a little bit of a red area here. We can do this one red. Whoa, super red. Oh, you guys have thoughts about mushrooms. Rin says, I love the delicious irony that mushrooms, which typically thrive in the dark, are rich in vitamin D, a vitamin our body generates when exposed to the sun. That is silly. Also, nice little factoid. Alessandra says, I know the week just started, but can't wait for Friday, y'all. Lol, it's gonna be 90 degrees here. I hope to get to explore more parks. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great plan. I love exploring parks as well. Anthony, Corinne, and I are planning a trip together soon, and one of the big draws that we're going for is like, what are the local parks like? Hiking spots and just outdoor activities. It's going to be down in California, so it'll be pretty hot. And whenever that kind of weather rolls around, if you can find a nice shaded walk, it's lovely. Especially if there's like a water hole you can go swimming in. Oh my goodness. The best. Alright, we've almost got all of our little mushrooms in a row. I think this guy's gonna be orange too. This will be fun too, because then I can add a lot of, what do you call it? Colored pencil detail on top and have some juicy colors come out of it because we've got kind of like this ish rainbow effect. Just gonna make this one a little more saturated. Felt like it wanted it. Alright. And then I just kind of want to wet this part prematurely. This is a technique that some watercolor people usually do. They put down water and then add the color like in pigment dabs across it. You guys saw how dirty my water was, so of course it's got a little color to it. So you can see that wetness down there. Let's do a really yellow green moss. All right. Oh, that's fun. Satisfying. At least for me, I like it. Y'all let me know if you like it or not. We are all entitled to our opinions, but you know. And some different colors just dabbing in there. Especially with the dabbing effect, I think that will dry really nicely with the idea of moss in mind. Like, moss has kind of a dabby pattern. You know how it spreads out like that? It's kind of like how it grows. So, it's lovely. That's why that wet on wet technique is really good. I just love it. I'm gonna try to close some of the gaps around the things, but I don't really mind if they're there. The gaps meaning that white in between where it's like, oh, mushroom and moss, but they're not quite meeting. It's one of the reasons I love doing a wash behind things usually, but I just don't have the patience today, so that's fine. Know thyself once again. Ooh, you know what would be really fun with this one? Is if we did a completely black background up here, or maybe like a dark blue or something like that. Oh my gosh, Anthony's in here. But if we did like a dark blue and then had like little, what would you call it? Like fuzzy bits or like glowy spores around the mushrooms, that would be really fun. Anthony says, just saying hi real quick. I'll be listening in the background while I work. No worries. We're just painting real low key today, so it's not crazy. Ren says, ooh, Anna, I'm looking forward to exploring so much once I'm there, but I'm especially looking forward to checking out the Portland Japanese Garden once I'm settled in. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love it so much. It depends also, I don't know where the housing is that you're going to be in, but the downtown area has access to a few hikes, so you could like literally step out your door potentially and go on a hike, which would be amazing. Beep. Okay. Rin says, what fun effects. Annika says, satisfying level over 9,000. Dragon Ball Zen. I love it. Oh, man. Yeah, happy working, Anthony. Have a good old time. Also, we were painting this, like, leafy lady. I feel like you'd enjoy this. Don't worry about how crazy her eye looks right now, because we could, like, calm her down. But it was a fun one to work on, so we can continue working on it. Honestly, I might do some paint, but I kind of want to just jump into colored pencil and work out some of this stuff. Fun. Okay. What do I want to do precisely? I want to define her ear because it's kind of blobby right now. Zwoop. Basically zwoop. And again, one of the beauties of this that I am so happy about is that if I absolutely hate something that I do with this colored pencil, we can go in with gouache and just straight up cover it. Ain't no thing. Kind of want to add some value in the behind the sclera of the eye or whatever, just because it feels like not only more magical, but also nobody has just straight up paper white eyes. It's something that adds a little bit of depth and value structure to the... Oh, that kind of turned out cool. Okay, so it kind of wiped away the darkness that was on the pupil, iris, whatever you call that. So now we've got like this dark orange iris with like a light orange sclera, which is really cool. Oh, cute. Okay, wait. I gotta go back and read things. Rin says the housing is a few blocks from the school, so I should have access, I think. I'm dying with excitement for hiking as well. Yes, so you're going to be up in the Pearl, which is a really cool area. It's unfortunate that it's happening, obviously, after pandemic, because Portland is going through a rough time. You do need to be safe on the streets. It is... there's a lot of houselessness, which is very, very, very sad, but also... it can be scary. So, yeah, we're gonna just make sure you're safe. But also the Pearl is one of the like hoity-toityest areas as far as my memory serves, but it's also next to Old Town. Be careful in Old Town. That's the biggest part that you always had to be careful in. But Anthony says she reminds me of a Hyrule goddess. Love it. Oh my gosh, please give me more compliments like this. Yes. Ren says, also bringing a ventilated cat backpack for my adventurous cat, so she is coming on a few smaller adventures with me. That is adorable, and I love it. Anthony says, also, Grandma got your vicarious hug and gave you one back. Aw, that's so cute. So much love to her. I hope she's doing well. Rin says, yes, I will do my best to be safe as well. We'll likely be traveling with friends / fellow students as well. Thank you for the tips. Of course. Yeah. I think I've got many more tips for you when you're here, and I don't want to like deluge you with just here's everything you need to know. But yeah, I went to school in Portland. I have not lived downtown, but James has, so he might have some tips for you as well. I can get out of him. And yeah, it is a special time in life when you're going to school in a different place. So I want you to enjoy the heck out of it and also be really, really safe so that you can enjoy it. Sorry, I just want the feeling that like her hair keeps going. Like I want it to be like, oh yeah, here's where it is, and then it just goes. Wah! So we could just add paper on, just like keep adding it. Like here, we'll just like keep going. Just keep going. You know, I've always kind of wanted to do that. Have that kind of patchwork idea on a piece where it's like, oh, it's not just one piece of paper. You just keep going and going and going and going. Because that would be really fun. And give some different layers here. She needs some layers in her haircut. Oh. Also, one of the most fun things about leaves is just like the size variation. You can go really big, really small. Oh, so fun. But yeah, and we can bring back that really curly baby fern right here. Love that for her. Cute. Gotta balance it out with one more, obviously. Boom. Okay. So, back to colored pencils. I'm not going to touch her hair, but her face is dry, so I think, yeah, for the most part. Her eye is dry. I want to add a little bit more of that blushy just up here. I love the orange kind of blush effect that we got near her nose. I just want to add a little bit of red, especially near the tips. And then we can do a little bit more orange as well. Have kind of like a gradient of orange to red. Especially around the lips. Oh yeah. Cute. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. A little touch of red on the chin. Chinny chin chin. You're cute. I love you. Aw. Yeah, more orange. Yes. Glow. Sorry, I'm just a little bit too excited. Let's see. Ren says, oh gosh, I can see it. Long dryad locks. Do it. Fold out. I love the idea. We'll do it. Rin says therapeutic hair that just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Martha says tape in, fold out for more paper. Oh my gosh, that's a cute idea. I like that. Yes, these colors are amazing. I think this is one of my favorites, Anna. Love the colors and her hair is beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad, Alessandra. You know, I've done several leaf hair ladies in my day. And I feel like they evolve every once in a while, like where I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to do that again. And that's why I've made several of them. And they do evolve. They change every single time, and it makes me happy. The thing is, with digital, there's no limit to how deep you can go, so I would literally go in there and like render every single leaf. I don't know if I'll do the same for this lady, just because this is like traditional media. It feels like it almost wants to be looser, but that's kind of the beauty, is you can take something where you've essentially sketched it out in paint and bring it into a digital medium and make it fully, like you can go as crazy far as you want to. Boom. Okay, so her eye has a little bit of work. It needs just like gotta have a little upturn at the end of the eye. I always give myself the cat eyeliner, so she's gotta have it too, obviously. We reflect ourselves in our work. A little bit of blue. It's fun. Interesting. Never done that before. I just highlighted her eye with blue. Which is fun because her eye is orange, so it feels kind of, I don't know, like there's this interesting factor. I think one thing I would paint over is this harsh, like dark line underneath her ear. I feel like it's not the move, but here, let's get up close. So cool. Ugh, I love her. She's so cool. I want to be like her when I grow up. I'm just gonna like outline a few leaves real simply. Give a few little deets. This is kind of like when we were working on this one. I don't necessarily feel like I want to have a photorealistic, oh, this is every single blade of grass as it should be. I just kind of went zoop, 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 and that's my favorite way of not only rendering quickly for myself, but also I really like the way it looks. So it's hitting both of the things that we were talking about earlier. Do you like making it? Do you like looking at it? Yes, yes, and yes. Do you like this ASMR of me working? Clack, 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 clack. That orange really pays off here. Like, hot dang, it looks good. As in, like, in the leaves. Of course with her blush as well. You know, I'm obsessed with it. But especially with the leaves, I feel like if this was all green, it would feel completely different. A few little more. Zoop, 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 zoop. Honestly, this is exactly how I did it too when I did a digital fairy like this. I actually did it for Adobe Max, I believe, a few years ago. I did like a little fresco painting of a fairy, and she was, or like a nymph, I don't know what to call these guys all the time, magical leaf girl. And with her hair, I basically, or sorry, her leaves, I went in and outlined a bunch of them, colored in the outline, and then colored behind them with the watercolor brush. So very similar to this, it's just I did the lines afterward. And then I would go in and detail out some of them where it was like, oh, there's like now a little bitten off part of this leaf or whatever. Let's do that just for funsies. It's of course going to look a little bit different because this is traditional media and you can't control it quite the same way, but there's a little bitten out part of the leaf. So again, I think I would go in here and lighten a little bit of this and have more of the shadow cast down like here so that it feels like this ear is sticking out towards us a little bit more. But I'm not mad at this at all. I think that this is really fun and really cute and I enjoyed making it. Ain't that just the way? Also want to do like little marks as if this is moss. Oh my gosh, fun. Oh, I have too much fun drawing, you guys, honestly. Okay, there we go. Now there's little marks down there on her shoulder. Hey, Alea's in the chat. Hello. Nice to see you. Rin says, it's so impressive seeing the layering process for paint. What starts out as a basic shape turns into amazing textured creation. That's the goal, baby. Martha says, I love the skin color, tree trunk color. Yes, it was an interesting one because especially when you're getting into brown tones, I never want it to feel like this person has in general Anglo facial features, I would say. I wasn't necessarily going for that, but that's how we ended up. And so I don't want to give them dark skin and make it look like I'm, you know, making it a race that they shouldn't be. But also keeping in mind that this is a creature that doesn't exist and that I'm trying to create this feeling of like nature meets person. I hope I hit that balance of like the different skin tones becoming the hair and everything and made it work. But you tell me. Okay. We have a few more minutes left. We've got, what is it, a little over 15? Excellent. Rin says, yes, the balance, the texture, the color, chef's kiss. Oh, thank you so much. Let's see. Rin says, not sure if this is the same set of paintings you're talking about. Let's see. No, that is actually a different set of paintings, which is so funny because this is how many times I've done Leafy Ladies. They were a different one. I don't know if they're on my Behance or not. Not sure about that. But I only did a, what do you call it? I did leaf and fire. The other one has water as well. I would show you guys, but there's a link in the chat on Behance if you want to see it. Oh yeah, I haven't checked in a while on YouTube. Hello, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry. Rin also says, but if not, still a great set with excellent leafage. Thank you. But it takes a special skill set to be able to ideate the steps in a painting, methinks. At least to myself, who comes from a non-painting background. Yes, absolutely. It's always interesting to see the transformation. I feel like, I don't know, you could see every artist on the planet paint something and they'll all do it differently. So that's always fun. Kind of wanna, I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do with the tops of these. Yeah, I kind of like that like flower burst around the bottom. That's fun. Squanch it. Squashed it. Name that movie. Wow, that's a really dark red. Let's bring out the big guns. The darkest red pencil that I have. Actually, I think I have a darker. Ooh, this could be a good challenge for the micron pens. Do I have my red one? I do. That's kind of perfect, actually. You guys see where the micron pens filled in? It's pretty cool. Zoop. Thank you, Anthony, for getting me these. That's fun. We can do like a little shaded bit underneath here. That's also a really fun part of doing mushrooms, is having that like umbrella effect of something overlapping another thing and being able to do like a really harsh shade. I love a good harsh shade. This one doesn't have its underside showing, so there. Cute. Actually, I really like the stylization. Can you guys see? Oh, so fun. I love it. I think this area needs a little bit of filling in, just a little bit. I know it's funny to fill in with red, but whatever. I'm having fun with it. See? I'm gonna bring in some of this orange and kind of pump up the saturation of this guy. Ooh, that's fun too. I can pump up the saturation in certain areas, so like towards the tip it can kind of get more saturated. And then have that fan out to be a little bit less saturated. That's fun. Sorry, I'm like covering everything with my hands, but 'tis what it is. Cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. I'm gonna keep on drawing in some little mossy details. I'm just doing like lines over the watercolor so that you can see the little moss like loops, I guess. What are they called? Anthony says, squashed it, spirited away. You're welcome for the pens. Thank you so much. Rin says, Anthony, ever so humble. Oh my goodness, the little shroomies. That close-up was lovely. Oh, I'm so glad. This is looking really good on camera for some reason. Like when I look at it in person, it's pretty, but like on camera, it looks really nice. I don't know. There's something about it. I think it's the shadows. There's something about putting crisp shadows underneath the little mushroom heads that makes it chef's kiss. I don't know. I don't know. Something about it. There's something about you, mushrooms, that makes me sweat. You guys know that song, right? I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy. You're driving me crazy. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Zoop, 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 zoop. I don't want to cover too much of that watercolory goodness because that's like my favorite thing. So I'm just trying to like find areas where I can give texture and let those like beautiful existing textures sing. So I'm actively avoiding them. Of course, then I just add too many marks and everything's covered anyway. Let me do my thing. Oh my gosh, how much fun is that? Ah, I love it. I love it. Ugh. I enjoy painting and drawing. Okay, so the big question for me with this one is, do we leave it with a white background or do we go in with a dark background? That is a very difficult question. I might just paint it again and do it with a dark background so that I can have the best of both worlds. Because I'm Miley Cyrus and you better deal with it. Putting some blue on here. I should probably sharpen this, honestly. It's getting pretty dull. Busting out the big sharpener, people. Alright, you ready for ASMR? Nailed it. Look at that. Sharpie baby. Rin, yes, hee. Oh my gosh, goodness, the little shroomies. That close-up was lovely. Oh, I'm so glad. I think I already read that one, but still, I am still glad. I'm going to add little lines on here every once in a while as well. This is like my more delicate way of drawing, if you can tell. Like, oh, be careful, the baby. Gotta be very gentle with it. So it's a different mode than my usual of like chaos and energy, but I equally enjoy both of them, so I'm just gonna let this one ride. Also, I'm just really enjoying this piece. For some reason, this is just hitting the spot. It's really nice whenever that lines up with the stream, because then you guys can see me get really excited and hopefully you like the piece too. But sometimes this is just me sitting in my little apartment being like, I love this piece. It's also just the magic of traditional stuff. I feel like there's something really nice about holding a pencil and just making the right mark and you're like, yeah. Interesting. Okay. This one I could definitely keep going forever, so I'll have to stop myself at some point. I think this needs like a little undershadow back there. I want two little things here, so I'm gonna just there. I defined the moth a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with the moth. I almost like it being kind of blank like this, but I might fill in its body or something. Maybe make it like it's fluffy here. It looks like it's electrified. I don't care. I made it spiky. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there you go. So silly. I love this one. I'm so glad we got to do this. Oh wow, and it's perfectly at 5. How perfect is that? I think it all worked out. There was something watching over our stream today, friends. Also, look at this beautiful bleed where the yellow mushroom was painted in, and while it was still wet, I painted in the red one, and then there's just like this bleed between the two of them. It's lovely. So good. Rin says, I'm slacking. Must chat more. Insert normal Rinny shenanigans here. Shenanigans. Shenanigans. Thank you so much for hanging out today, Rin. And also everyone else. This was a really fun one for me. Sorry if there wasn't as much talking, but I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So I think we've achieved something here today. So we've got forest, we've got forest become person, and we've got mushrooms and moth. Honestly, I think mushrooms and moth is my favorite. Is that weird? I think I love it. I think I'm in love with this. This is good. Anyways. I will see you guys next time. Anthony will probably be here on Thursday, but we will always just see. And if you want to be on the most updated vibes, then definitely be part of the Discord, because then we will always know, like, up to the minute, are we streaming, or are there technical difficulties, or is life too much, or blah, blah, blah. Or are we streaming something fun and collaborative, or like here's a link to something, or here's a picture of something. There's all sorts of stuff going on over on the Discord, so go join. Martha says, love them, scan it, blow it up big, and paint more. Haha, I love that. Honestly, I might do a bigger piece like this, because that was too much fun. I worry now. I'm like, oh man, if I do a bigger piece, will it be as fun? But, you know, you don't know till you try. So thanks for being here, friends. Anthony says, blow it up. Let it rot in the forest. True art. He's referring to an artist that I knew once upon a time who said that they let their their art decompose in the forest. An interesting take. That's all I'm going to say about that. Go to a forest and find some art. And until next time, remember to get vaccinated, get boosted, wear a mask, be kind to yourself and to others, and remember that you are loved. Thanks for being here. See you very soon. Very soon, as in like the after party soon. Hello. I'm still here. Let's see. What should we talk about in the after party, Anthony? Best wishes, friends. Bye-bye, says Anthony. Well, I believe other people are streaming right now, possibly Wade's still, so you should go check out their streams. Everybody on Behance is really lovely. Oh, Anthony says I can read the atlas to say bye to people. Thank you so much for being here, Alasia, Annika, Anna Daviscourt, who's that? Anthony Sims, Alessandra, Jake Green, Lauda, Martha, Max, Rin, Tyler, and Yusra. It was lovely chatting with y'all, and to any replay landers, you live forever in my heart, and that's where we'll meet, you know? In the vast, what was it? The field of reeds. So peaceful, so good. All right, I'll see you guys.